I'm Lucia Jacobs. I'm professor of psychology and neuroscience at Berkeley, and I'm going to talk about Sarah Blaffer Hrdy. She's in the National Academy of Sciences, honorary doctorate. She's saying things that most people don't want to hear, challenging everything that not just the general public, but biologists thought about females. She was born in 1946. She came from this completely Southern patriarchal environment where women had very specific roles to be polite and modest and coy. And at the same time, she had a mother and grandmother who had gone to Wesleyan and believed in education, obviously. She says very straightforward that her mother funded her field work. And she's an example of someone who took her privilege and turned it into this whole research program on what does it mean to be a woman. She basically challenged all the assumptions that she grew up with, and not only did she grow up with, that she was living day to day as a graduate student at Harvard. Her first book is called The Woman That Never Evolved. She is talking in this book about orgasm. Primates, females, are highly sexual creatures. She's getting reviews from fellow anthropologists who said, well, she must have a sexual problem that she would write about this. And then as the data kept coming in, they said, okay, you're right. So what do you do if you've got a smart, highly sexual, creative creature who you want to know that her offspring are your offspring? What do you do? What males do to females in our species is not replicated in any other species. There's dominance, but there's not enslavery. There's not genital mutilation. She said in 1981, I think the danger I'm worried about is men controlling women's reproductive choices. We have extreme abilities to control over humans, and males have used it for thousands of years. So Sarah very quietly comes up, writes another book, and blows the field away again by saying, guess what? Humans are actually a cooperatively breeding species, which is a specific definition of a species where a pair cannot raise an offspring by itself, where they need alloparents. A typical baby, Langer baby, will be held by 16 different females in the course of a day. And then you can contrast that to a woman in the suburbs or an apartment by herself with babies and no support. Sarah says, no, we're cooperative breeders. We need alloparents. And if we don't, things are going to go bad. Her profound conclusion is that there's not a single maternal instinct. It's not like some women are evil and some women are saints. It means that some women had resources and some women didn't. And if you gave those women resources, they too would be nurturing. It takes a village, yes, it does. It takes a village. Now she goes to this latest book, Mothers and Others, which is about alloparenting, but it's much more than that. It's about the evolution of the human mind. The history of women intellectuals. She is very typical of those kinds of heroic women who take the resources they have and do revolutionary things. She doesn't play the politics games. She's not worried about chasing citations or awards. They just kind of come to her because she just sits quietly and thinks and follows the data. And when the data led her in places that no one had been, and someone of her upbringing particularly was not supposed to go, she just didn't question it. She had this kind of inner courage that I just admire. And she's 6 foot tall and gorgeous blonde. I mean, she's a superhero.